further details of such violations?
Mr. Speaker, first of all, can I join my honourable friend in his thanks for the Metropolitan Police, who have for many years done an outstanding job, but today certainly in making sure Mr. Assange was arrested and presented in front of the courts. And he asked me about the Ecuadorian government. I might point his attention to the statement that's been made today in a video message by President Moreno, and he has talked there about how Mr. Assange, in the opinion of the President, has been discourteous and aggressive, and makes a number of accusations against Mr. Assange, which is one of the reasons that the President decided, as a sovereign decision of the Ecuadorian state, to remove what they call diplomatic asylum.
Thank you to the Home Secretary very much indeed, and to colleagues. Yes, a point of order, Mr. Stephen Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd be very grateful for your guidance in respect to a matter which arose earlier today at DCMS questions. It concerns comments that you, Mr. Speaker, made about the planning application in my constituency for the development of a beautiful, unspoilt part of countryside at Park of Keir. You rightly take every opportunity to praise Judy Murray, someone whom I know you fully respect and admire, and you rightly identified Judy Murray as one of the sponsors of the said proposed development of Park of Keir. But my question is, how can I make it clear for the record that there is a substantial body of opinion in Dunblane and Bridge of Allen among my constituents who want there to be a legacy for Andy and Jamie Murray in the Stirling area, but who do not want this piece of glorious countryside to be developed for that or any other purpose?
Well, the honourable gentleman has found his own salvation, and he's done so with very good grace and an admirable sense of humour in relation to what is a serious matter. He's doing his constituency duty as he judges it right. Look, I completely respect the fact that there are different points of view about the matter. I did express public support for Judy Murray and Park of Keir some considerable time ago, and I reiterated it. But the honourable gentleman has made his own point in his own way, and I recognise immediately that he also speaks for many other people as well. He's put that on the record in a perfectly proper way, and I think that we can both honourably leave it there. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Point of order, Sir Mike Penning.
On Monday, you kindly granted a UQ when medical cannabis was confiscated from a child when she entered the UK from Holland. I can tell the House today that a prescription has been issued for that medical cannabis so that young girl can have the medication she needs. Sadly, at the moment, there is still a blockage. And I wonder, with the Home Secretary on the front bench, and I know he's tirelessly working to help us, whether that blockage for that prescription to be honoured is yet to be done.
Well, I say this, it's usually used pejoratively, but I say it in a non-pejorative sense. The Right Honourable Gentleman has opportunistically taken the chance to raise a point of order with me in the full knowledge of the presence of the Home Secretary. The Home Secretary is not obliged to respond, but he looks as though he wishes to do so. The Home Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy to respond, and it's perfectly proper that the Right Honourable Gentleman has raised this issue, because it's a really important issue, and he was right to raise it earlier this week as well. The Home Office has been working with the Department for Health and Social Care, because it is the Health Department that is responsible for issuing of licences since the prohibition was lifted, but we will continue to work carefully, and we will certainly make sure that it can be done as soon as possible.
Perhaps I can be forgiven for saying, in the gentlest and most understated of spirit, that having known the Right Honourable Gentleman, the member for Hemel Hempstead, for a good many years, the sooner that interdepartmental cooperation is brought to a successful conclusion, the better. For if that is not the case, I think I can confidently predict that the Right Honourable Gentleman, quite properly, will go on and on and on about the matter, and on! Because he's a persistent terrier of a parliamentarian. That UQ served a very important public purpose, and I think the Right Honourable Gentleman deserves great credit for bringing it to the House. Thank you. Terriers are very small. Yeah, well... Yes, it is being suggested that the Right Honourable Gentleman is more a persistent Rottweiler than a persistent terrier. Or a bloodhound, yes, OK. Well, I think we pursued this matter to destruction for now. I'm glad that the House is in a good spirit. We come now to the presentation of Bill. Mr Alistair Carmichael.
Legal tender Scottish banknotes bill.
Second reading what day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Thank you. Order. We come now. Are we dealing with the motion on the Easter adjournment? Yes, motion number 1 on the Easter adjournment. The whip to move.
Thank
you. The question is as on the order paper. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye! Yelled with particular enthusiasm. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order. On account of the urgent question and the number of statements, I think the House ought collectively to be informed that a judgment was made at a much earlier stage today by the chair of the Backbench Business Committee in consultation with debate sponsors that the backbench debate on the definition of Islamophobia in the name of the honourable gentleman, the member from Ilford, was an extremely important debate that deserved a proper allocation of time and should therefore be rescheduled. I think that would be seemly and respectful. And therefore we now come to the resumed debate, the debate sadly interrupted by the rather well publicised leak last